A game so bad, so soulless, so completely missing the point that it makes you question the franchise it came from. Now imagine that game is part of Resident Evil. Yeah, that same Resident Evil, the survival horror king. The franchise that gave us Raccoon City, zombies in police stations, and 12 vampire moms. And then, one day Capcom said, let's make it an esports shooter, but like extremely half-assed. This is Umbrella Corps, and it's not just bad. It's an active crimes against humanity. Back in 2016, Capcom released Resident Evil Umbrella Corps, a third-person competitive shooter spin-off that, well, verily qualifies as a shooter and definitely doesn't qualify as a Resident Evil. And if you don't remember it, that's okay, neither does Capcom. This thing dropped with no hype, no ads, no trailers shouting we reinvented this series, just a quiet release into the void, like a fart into a thunderstorm. And once you play it, you immediately understand why they tried to avoid it. It's unpolished, unfun, and just not a real Resident Evil. So today we're gonna go a little bit deep into what Resident Evil Umbrella Corps is, why it's such a mess, and how Capcom managed to miss every single mark in the most confusing way possible. So let's set the scene. Umbrella Corps is a third-person online shooter set in the Resident Evil universe. You are dropped into a multiplayer map with two small teams of mercenaries, and you fight for objectives while zombies wander the map like slightly confusing tourists. It's supposed to be tactical and fast-paced, and it's supposed to bring Resident Evil worlds into a realm of competitive PvP. But what it actually is a clunky, awkward mess of a game that feels like someone made a Call of Duty clone in Unity class, and then accidentally they slapped the Resident Evil logo on it. And not even a cool Resident Evil. I'm talking like the flies you find in the background of Resident Evil lore kind of stuff. Disposable mercenaries, obscure factions, settings that kinda look familiar if you squint. You're not playing as Leon and you're not playing as Claire, you're just generic helmet dude 12. Right from the tutorial, things are rough. You think this is where the game would introduce you to its unique mechanics and world. Nope. Instead, you are forced to trudge through a painful, dull checklist of how to shoot and how to crouch in maps that look like someone hit generate generic warehouse in a level editor. The guns feel weightless, the melee feels random, and when you kill something, you get about as much feedback as tossing a people into a soup. There's no real tension, no dread, just you wondering if it's too late to refund the game. And let's talk about the camera, because oh boy, this camera is an experience. It's locked over your shoulder, but like way over your shoulder, so close, it's like you are being spooned by your own character. You can't see what's in front of you, you can't see around the corners, and half the time you can't even see who's shooting at you. The default field of view is so cramped, it turns every firefight into a panic attack. It's the visual equivalent of trying to drive with a cardboard box typed to your head, and it never improves. There are no options to pull it back, no mods to fix it, just you, the back of your MERS helmet, and an overwhelming sense of regret. Now, about something peculiar. Every character in Umbrella Corps comes with two standout tools. The Brainer, a charge-up melee weapon that basically a cattle prod duct taped into a crowbar, and the Zombie Jammer, a backpack device that makes zombies ignore you until it gets shot. Now, let's start with the Brainer. This thing is supposed to be a tactical one-hit melee weapon, but in practice, it turns every match into a chaotic sprint fest where players just rush each other and mash melee like they're playing Dark Souls with lag. And the Zombie Jammer, it's a neat idea. Zombies won't attack you unless the jammer is broken, but once it's broken, every single zombie in the map rushes you like you are the last free pizza at a LAN party. Instead of adding strategic depth, these mechanics just pile up more randomness, and not fun, haha, zombie chaos randomness. No, just why is any of this happening randomness? And hey, maybe you are like me, maybe you don't really care about PvP, and maybe you just want to vibe with some Resident Evil atmosphere in a solo mode. Cool, Capcom got you covered with a mode called the Experiment. And you might be wondering, what's the Experiment? It's 20 missions of mind-numbing, repetitive objectives set on multiplayer maps against AI zombies. No story, no dialogue, no payoff. Just kill these zombies, stand in this circle, collect this object, and repeat. It's like training simulator for mercenaries with zero imagination. Just think Resident Evil Mercenaries if it had a lobotomy. And what's even worse, it still uses the same broken shooting, terrible camera and clunky mechanics, so instead of stress-free solo fun, it's just more frustration but lonelier. Alright, so the game's clearly not really meant for a single player, so let's talk about the extended multiplayer if you can even find a match. The big pitch is 3 vs 3 tactical combat in close quarters with Resident Evil theme maps, and by tactical I mean run around like a headless chicken and hope you hit something. There are 2 modes, one live match, die once, you're out, and multi-mission, a mix of objective-based rounds with infinite response. That's it, that's the big PvP esports of Capcom. That's the multiplayer suit. The maps are tiny, the player count is microscopic, the zombie AI is more annoying than dangerous, and then it's luck, junky netcode, bad weapons balance, and oh yeah, right, no one is playing this anymore. Try matching in 2025 and you'll sit there longer than it takes to download the Resident Evil 2 remake. The community is gone, the servers are ghost towns. The only way to play this game now is to force your friends to install it out of morbid curiosity and maybe hatred. So why did Capcom even make this? Let's be real, this was a business decision, not a creative one. In 2016, every company wanted their own Call of Duty or their own Overwatch. You know, their own bit of a sweet esports pie. Capcom probably thought, hey, Resident Evil is so popular, what if we make it a competitive shooter? But instead of investing time, money and care, they took a weird half-formed prototype and shoved it out the door. There was no real vision and no identity. Just, we can make this quick and maybe people will buy it. Spoiler, they did not. And for years Capcom pretended this game didn't exist. You won't see it in Resident Evil retrospectives, it's never brought up in interviews. It's the black sheep of the franchise, except the sheep has a gun and a terrible aim. So Resident Evil Umbrella Corps is not just a bad Resident Evil game, it's a bad game in general. It fails at gunplay, it fails at multiplayer, it fails at level design, camera control, pacing, horror, and identity. It's what happens when you make a game just to hit a trend, without understanding your audience, your legacy, or your own mechanics. And the worst part, it had potential. With care, some polish, and some actual effort, a multiplayer Resident Evil spin-off could have been amazing, but instead we've got this. So yeah, Umbrella Corps. If your goal is to lose brain cells and spiral into a gaming existential crisis, it's perfect. Otherwise, just play Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 4 or even Revelations. Literally any other Resident Evil game has more heart than this. I hope you enjoyed this video and see you soon, random internet brother.